I think what makes a great audio ad is one that takes advantage of the creativity of audio. So it's using a really singular sense, our hearing. So how can we make the most of that and connect with people in a really personal way? It thinks about the different cues that you've got when you're listening to something. So thinking about the voiceover artist that you're using, the tone of voice that they're giving, all the ways that we can connect with people, the music, the sounds.
We often like to use it as a part of a broader media mix to complement things like TV and digital. We talk about trying to be seen at different touch points across the day. We love breakfast and drive, so when people are on the move, we like to include audio at those particular times when people aren't necessarily using broadcast from a TV, or they're on their phone and potentially complement what they're doing with a second screen and so on.
With an audio channel, the response to actually reacting to what's being said and what comes through in a message on audio advertising, I think you need that digital support because it becomes that next step and that next behaviour. So having a digital campaign where people can then actively search for your brand or your product and then connect the story through those different channels makes a really big difference.
The main thing that makes a great digital advert, to my mind anyway, is relevancy. If we think about the key thing about digital is how much we know about the audience we're targeting. So we're targeting an audience, we could typically know their location, we'd understand their demographics, their age, for example, we'd probably know their interests, we might know the recent websites they've been to and products that they've recently purchased. So we know a lot about the audience that we're targeting, therefore we can produce adverts that are highly relevant and highly targeted.
Digital is most beneficial in a flexible environment. What we're able to do across digital is change creative, bids, and advertising as frequently as possible. This is exceptionally useful for brands that need to change multiple times. Digital media can be used for a wide range of marketing objectives. It's no longer just performance and conversion campaigns. Digital media can be used for brand launches, product launches, brand awareness, all the way through to conversion campaigns. It's important to think of digital not just as a channel, but as a medium for buying other channels through display, video, audio, and even programmatic out of home.
Digital advertising really lends itself to brands that are very active on a consumer level. So direct-to-consumer brands like FMCG brands, or product base, anything where people can purchase or buy, specifically online.
I would advise marketers not to be too obsessed with digital measurement, and because at the end of the day, the combination of traditional and digital channels working together is what makes an advertising campaign effective, and a lot of times not all of that is very measurable.
Traditional media that really complements digital have to align with your digital goals as well that you have. If you want to raise awareness, if you want to have conversion-driven digital as well, you need to find traditional media channels that will align with those objectives. So what I've found is, traditionally speaking, that media channels that have worked well with digital are more top-of-the-line awareness ones like TV, cinema, radio, and outdoor. They've all worked well to raise awareness and drive traffic to that digital channel.
Focus on your customer. Spend the time to do your research. I think Abraham Lincoln said, if it's going to take me 8 hours to chop a tree, I'll spend 6 hours sharpening the axe. So know your audience. Spend the time to research your audience, understand exactly who they are, what their demographics are, what their behaviors are, and what their feelings and triggers and barriers are. Use your digital channels specifically to target the areas that they're going to be in.
So cinema has the ability to
to amplify messaging out there. What makes a great cinema ad? You've got the capability to actually tell an entire story. Whereas with digital, it'll be a digital impression. With TV, it'll either be a 15-second or 30-second ad. With cinema, you've got 60 seconds to fulfill the client's entire messaging.
Cinema is an incredible platform for storytelling, and so it's best to be used when there is either an awareness or a storytelling piece to the campaign where you're really trying to change perception or create a connection with an audience. It gives you a really big canvas to be able to do that, and a great audio-visual format to connect all of those pieces together.
Cinema is great because it plays really well with other channels. It has a huge synergistic effect, especially with things like AV channels, like TV and video. You can add incremental reach using cinema, but also other channels. So like out of home, radio, cinema can also work really well to amplify a message. So it can actually work really well for lots of different channels.
For me, when you talk video, in particular television, it's always the key top three things: simplicity, differentiation, and a little bit of emotion. I think if you think about some of the most famous ads that give you a chuckle or become part of our vernacular, if it's an ad that makes you think about it and it becomes part of your language, then that is great advertising.
Brands that work really well on TV are those that, already have a certain amount of awareness. So big brands obviously work, tremendously well. Any brand that has a really strong message and is looking for great reach and awareness should use TV.
TV is complemented by outdoor, for sure, but there's also opportunities to hit them with frequency via radio. So the third media I feel works well with TV is dual screening, or social media in essence. It's people sitting on the couch watching TV, watching their favourite program. So really there's an opportunity to reach them in the broadcast TV environment, but also reach them in their handheld, whether it be their phone or laptop or whatever they have to use, the device they use.
TV's been that pinnacle channel that I think all big advertisers have wanted to use, or even small advertisers. Getting their brand on TV has always enabled them to capture mass audiences, and it can still do that. The landscape has changed, but there's really still the evidence that proves that TV is still an effective channel.
Immerse yourself into the product. Understand what you're selling. And please use some common sense. Television is fun to buy. Television can be complicated to buy. Relying on data is 60% of it. Relying on common sense, gut feel, and product understanding is the other 40%.
Outdoor is a blink medium, so you really need to get your creative right to be successful in outdoor. And you really need to consider the dwell time of the site that you're actually booking, not just the formats and the various types, but also actually the location of those sites. So you want your brand to be distinctive and actually be able to see as you might be zooming past the highway. Also, you really want to make sure you're capturing the audience in that blink moment.
I think outdoor can work for almost any brand, really, and it comes down to that clear communication in that short space of time. Where outdoor really comes into play really nicely is where you've often got a proximity play. So being able to look at placing your ad in an environment or place where it's relevant to a consumer. So being able to tailor that to your audience and tailor that to the journey that someone's going on in their day-to-day makes it really powerful.
I would include outdoor on almost every campaign that I run. I would always put an element of outdoor out there. Let it be static billboards, digital billboards, shopping centre screens, gym screens, what have you.
there needs to be an element of outdoor.
There's lots of studies around which platform. I think out of home arguably say that they best complement television or video formats, and that's really that they provide incremental awareness to a TV buy. You've got a light TV viewer who may be a heavy consumer of out of home, so the combination of the two, I believe, has had the highest impact on brand awareness.
A great print ad is all about the contextual relevance. So finding the title that is right fit for your audience and the brand is absolutely the first step to getting a great print ad. The thing with print is you are massively getting a niche audience and a highly engaged audience. So you need to talk to them in the theme and the tone of the title that you're within to make sure that you're actually communicating with them in the style of the environment.
I mean, the strongest medium that complements in this day and age is obviously the digital space. We're consuming more and more print content as well online, so to be in both environments, obviously benefits to be seen in a newspaper and in their digital mastheads. For me, digital's the strongest connection between those two mediums.
It depends on where the audience is. Since the digital revolution, a considerably greater number of people read newspapers online than they do the physical newspaper. And of course, the profile of the digital readers of print compared to the physical readers of print are quite different. The people that you want to sell to or you want to communicate with have to be consuming those media types in the first place.
We use regional media to test new media channels, and generally, if we've got additional media budget and we want to try and test what channels we want to incorporate in or not incorporate in, we will go to a regional town or a regional area, a hotspot, and we will use that as our, test cell against the rest of the nation or the area that would be our control cell.
When planning a regional media campaign, I think it's important to consider the purpose, why you're going regional, and also what the differences may be between that regional environment and that regional consumer compared to your metro consumer. So you may find a different mix or a different tactic actually performs much stronger based on that audience insight and behaviour.